and welcome to another episode of Photopeeps. And we have some guests today that have made photography their sort of business, and they've actually moved basically for photography, but you'll find out why later on. But let me introduce you to Adele and Max, also known as Warner Tate Photography on YouTube. So, hello you two, how are you?
Hi Darren, Daniel, begin.
Have that.
Good. And how are you both? Is it nice and cold up there?
It's actually been 9 degrees today, hasn't it?
Positively tropical today.
It's not been too bad at all. I mean, we've had some pretty wild weather over winter, sort of over the last 4 weeks, really. But today's been quite mild. It's been a little bit windy, but nice and warm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a total change from where you are.
I know.
You want to let the viewers know where you actually are at the moment?
So we live on the west coast of the Isle of Lewis, which is an island that's part of the Outer Hebrides. It's just off sort of mainland Scotland to the west.
And when did you move up there?
It was 5 days before Christmas. Not December just gone, 2023. 5 days before Christmas. So it was sort of a little bit crazy trying to get organised. I don't even think we ended up putting a Christmas tree.
No, we didn't. Nothing at all.
But it was all good fun.
Yeah. you didn't.
So was that your or was your hand forced? Did you have to move then?
I think what it was, the solicitors were closed over that Christmas period, and the guys that we bought the house off, they worked for the NHS, so they were going out to Orkney, and they needed to sort of be done and left to start their new jobs. So
Right.
we were thinking it was going to be early January initially, but because sort of everything closed down over Christmas,
Yeah.
Can we do
Let's
the
just
20th
go.
of December? Yeah. So we was like, yeah. We're ready.
My God.
Why did you choose the Isle of Lewis?
It's just we came over in our camper van. We discovered the island in 2023. Was it 2023?
Yeah.
We discovered it when we came across in our camper van. Somewhere we'd always wanted to come and never came. Anyway, we got in the camper van and we decided to come across and loved it that much. It was instant. It was, we've been coming to Scotland for the best part of 10 years now doing photography, but when we came over to here, there was just something else. We knew we would end up in Scotland. We thought it would be the Highlands of Scotland, but there was just something about it when we came over in our van.
Yeah. It was like discovering Scotland all over again. And I think because we've been literally everywhere, like Max said, in the van, coming here, it just felt really different.
Mm-hmm.
And we was here in May, weren't we?
Yeah.
Then June, July, August, and then we did 2.5 weeks. We did the Isle of Barra, the Uis, and then back over to Harris and Lewis. And Max had said a couple of times, we need to move. and every time we was here, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. And then as you do, you get home, and I was like, oh no, I'm not sure. We can't just, we'd already moved to Aberdeenshire just 18 months previously. So from Rosendale, so we'd already done one massive move, quite recently. So I was a bit like, I'm not sure that we should. And then I think doing the 2.5 weeks in the van, it just was the best experience ever. Yeah. And we sort of promised each other that we'd get home, put the house up for sale, and we did. And that was it, really. The house sold in, I think, 3 weeks.
Yeah. That was September, wasn't it? Was that September?
We got back in September.
Yeah. And we were moving.
We came across in November to look at houses, and then we were moving in December.
Yeah. That's really quick, isn't it? Really quick.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's a different process for buying and selling in Scotland. And I think sort of because we already had a buyer and these guys here wanted to be sort of done and dusted quite quickly, it was a really quick turnaround, a really quick process.
I bet your neighbours were thinking, is it something we've done?
Yeah, they've only been here 18 months.
They're off.
And how we found it over there with the locals and that at the moment?
Yeah, fine. I mean, the community is lovely. We have a lady sort of next door that way, and we've got a couple of houses behind us, but there's not really, it's not like a little street or a village. There's not that many houses round and about us. Kathy's lovely next door, really nice lady, and everybody literally that we've come across, the community is so supportive, and
nice.
It's a different way completely.
And you can tell why you fall in love with something like that.
Yeah, that's it. You can leave your door open and not worry. It's just a different way completely.
Which is ideal.
I think with some locations like that, you perhaps feel a bit, are we going to be accepted as outsiders, if you like? That plays on your mind. Are we doing the right thing? Are we going to hate it? How long do we give it before we decide to move back again? And it is a big step.
Massive.
Before we came, that was a bit of a concern for us, wasn't it? Before we actually moved, it's that whole, absolutely. But then at the end of the day, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's where we wanted to be, so we would have made it work regardless.
Yeah.
And did you actually move for photography as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of those things, like Max said, we've been coming to Scotland for 10 years probably, and coming away from your really busy jobs and the pressure, stress of work, we were both sort of, it was probably more so for Max, but, we were doing sort of like 12-hour days at work, and then you don't switch off from that.
Yeah.
So coming up to Scotland, you just sort of take a breath, you catch yourself back up. And it was that feeling, I think, that we both just wanted at every opportunity, literally. And we were coming to Scotland before photography. It was just Scotland that encouraged that, that interest, I suppose, into photography. But, when we moved to, if we rewind a little bit before that, when we relocated from Rosendale to Aberdeenshire, it came out of the blue a little bit, hasn't it? We'd just come back from the Isle of Skye. And, as you do, you've got the holiday blues and you want to be back in Scotland. And Max got a call from work offering a transfer to Scotland. It was like, whatever it is, we will make it work. Yeah. So I think at that point, I couldn't carry on doing my job. So we both worked for the same company. I'd been working from home all through COVID, doing, sort of online meetings and whatnot. But I wasn't in a position that I could carry on doing that.
Right.
So we went to Aberdeenshire. Max had a job I didn't. I found a little 2-day-a-week sort of part-time HR position. But the balance didn't feel right because Max was working full-time and I was doing 2 days. And then Max started talking about taking early retirement. And then we discovered here, and it all just sort of...
So it's all fitted nicely together, hasn't it?
Yeah, it all sort of just dropped into place. And I think, because I have a little job here, I do 3 days a week. So it gives us 4 days a week just to focus on photography and
nice.
Get up there. And we, sort of that interest in seascape photography, living on the island, you're surrounded by absolutely beautiful coastline wherever you look.
Yeah.
So, it just sort of seems
it's been natural fit for you, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, what you mentioned seascape there. What we'll do, we'll share now some of your images and just talk us through some of these.
The sky's like that most of the time. It's fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic.
So that's the little wee beach down on Harris. I won't try and pronounce. I think everybody knows it is a wee beach, and I think it was September last year and Fiona Campbell was here. She was staying in a van down on Harris, and she sort of messaged saying, "It's looking pretty decent for sunset. Are you coming down?" So we went down and met up, and it was lovely. The sky was just beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think when you get the wash of the waves like that, sort of back and forth, you can take sort of probably far too many images.
Oh yeah.
And sort of looking through them, that was the one that I really, really liked. It just sort of caught the light nice, the waves were nice, there was a little bit of light sort of through the rocks and onto the water, and yeah, it was a nice evening.
It was great.
The clouds just add that mystical feel to it, don't they? It's just yeah. Absolutely lovely.
I mean, just off to the left, the sky was on fire, but sort of that was a composition that I'd settled on.
Yeah.
And dug my tripod into the sand as hard as I think the thing about that beach is it's so unpredictable. You can sort of watch the waves coming in and out for, a good 10, 15 minutes and sort of try and judge where you're going to be safe. And then all of a sudden, a wave comes out of nowhere and comes right up the beach.
Yeah.
And it's a single beach as well. So when you get the wash back, everything's moving under your feet.
Right.
You've got to be really careful on that beach. But when you get those conditions, it's just lovely.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And you could tell by looking at this is why you love the seascape so much.
Absolutely. And it's got the sort of the Harris Hills there in the back. I mean, it's just a lovely little beach, and it's not very big at all. I don't know if any of you've sort of been over, but tiny little beach, but there's so much to sort of to photograph, isn't it?
Yeah.
On your seascapes like this, what's your sort of go-to shutter speed, or do you just mess around trying different ones?
It's usually sort of. I always start off at around 1/4 of a second because I like that texture.
Yeah.
Where you can see the movement in the water, but it's not too long, so you're blurring it, and you can still see sort of that texture in the water. And then I just sort of adjust as the light drops a little bit, but I always try and keep it to around that same shutter speed, really.
Yeah. It just gives you that nice flow, doesn't it? It just leads you into the image, that sort of soft shutter speed. It's not too long, but you're not getting them crisp waves either. I think it works really well.
Because I think the next image that I took after that was sort of, again, so the wave had come in and it was just on its way back out. And the next one that I took, the tripod had tilted. It was just horrendous. It was all blurred.
I see him.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one. Well, with your love of the waves and stuff like this.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's powerful.
Is this
powerful?
What's not on your last video? Is it? Is it on the one before that when you got all the sea spray and stuff like that coming through?
Yeah, it was just before Christmas, wasn't it?
Mental.
Yeah. The best thing about that day was I should have been in work.
We won't say anything.
Well, so I'd been in work the day before, and sort of. Something came up and I was like, the waves are going to be good over the next couple of days. Imogen's absolutely fantastic. And she said, do you want the day off? And I was like, that wouldn't be sort of right, really, to have the day off to go and photograph the waves. But anyway, she sort of said, go on, go. Yeah. It should have been my last day before Christmas sort of break. So she was like, no, go and have an early Christmas present and go and photograph the waves.
Oh, nice.
That's fantastic.
So it was great. We was out for a good few hours, and it just carried on. And the wind was just catching the spray beautifully. Oh, it was really, really lovely. Just with the long lens and just sort of stood watching it and taking it in. It was fantastic.
So were these handheld, being with the strong winds?
Yeah.
Tripod back to Manchester, I think.
I think on that day we had gusts of up to 77 mile an hour.
Wow.
So I was sort of just crouched down behind the harbour wall, just trying to take a little bit of shelter from the wind. And
handheld.
Yeah, and just sort of shooting across. But it's a fantastic spot because you get the waves sideways on.
Yeah. That's right.
I think one of the beaches that we found where you can do that as opposed to shooting front on. I think when you get that side on and you can sort of see the wave just as it breaks, I think it has more impact than front on.
What I love about these images is looking for faces in the waves.
We do it all the time.
And I found 2 like roaring lions when I first saw this.
Oh, really?
There's one sort of, I like to see this, one sort of roundabout there. Oh, let me just.
Oh, there.
And then one sort of.
I can see that one, the second one, but I can't see the. Oh, yeah, kind of. Yeah. Kind of.
I've got one image
I can see the face where you were pointing before.
Yeah.
To that, the first one, I can see that. It's clear.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll have to have a proper look at that one. But it is fascinating when you look back, because even with the sand patterns, I'll look at a pattern on the sand and I'll think, oh, that looks really interesting. It's the colour, it's the texture, it's a mix of that different colour sand. You take the image and then when you get back and you're like, actually, you can see a face there.
Yeah.
Look at the horse.
Look at
the
cow. Clear face of a dog.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's a bit like Rachel Talibart does, isn't it? She does all stuff like this.
Backlit.
But this one here,
backlit, nice.
Yeah.
So that was sunrise. That wasn't that long ago, actually. I think that was beginning of January. And again, it's the same location as the previous image, but just at sunrise. So the sun was rising literally just above. So there was a nice little gap in the clouds, and the colour of the sun was just illuminating everything. And I had to really desaturate these images, to be honest, because it was just literally orange. I took a lot of the orange colour and sort of desaturated a little bit, but this one sort of felt I don't know, like a bit more elegant, where the other ones are roaring waves, and you can sort of see the power of force. It sort of quietly sort of roaring.
How far is this beach away from you?
It's about half an hour. There's a beach literally just behind the house, a minute and a half in the car. We've yet to do a sort of a proper photography session there.
Right.
So we've got Dalmore and Dalberg, they're both within sort of 10 minutes from us. And they're 2 fantastic beaches. It's just the sun sets at the moment really far off, so you don't get any light there for sunset. So we've been sort of trying to make the most of sunrise and trying to judge that with the tide, haven't we?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, you go to where the light is, don't you, with stuff like this?
So, with regards to where your house is located on the island, how far is it from like north, south, east, and west to the coast? Can you get there quite? You say this is what, an hour and a half away?
Not half an hour.
This is half an hour. Yeah. So
half an hour.
Yeah.
So is the coastal quite close to your geographically north, south, east, and west?
Yeah.
So you can literally decide we need to go now and get somewhere quickly.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we were looking at houses,
strategically,
when we was looking at relocating, it was all about where they were, how close are they to the beach? Have we got the Northern Light? Can you see the Northern Lights from the house? Was another thing.
Never mind the kitchen, the bathroom, the conservatory. Where's the Northern Lights going to be?
It was part of, we wanted to try and be in as best at location as we could to make the most.
To maximise it, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But you can drive sort of up and down the island in probably about an hour and a half, isn't it?
Yeah.
From ours down to it's about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing, isn't it? To be able to have that scope to go anywhere within that time frame.
To do sunrise and then sunset, different east and west.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah. Right, moving on to this one, and that soft wave effect again.
Yeah. So that was that's the same beach. Oh, my battery has just come on. Bear with me 1 second.
No problem.
Right stuff, because it is plugged in. But that's the same beach. It's
So, yeah.
the little wee beach at Harris. So I'm trying to think. I think that might have been March actually. When was we with Fiona again? I think we were.
Potentially, I think we were, because she was saying, wasn't she? It's, every time she comes and we go with her, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure Fiona was down again that night. And the waves were just huge as they were coming over. And you can just see sort of that Hebridean hue in the break of that wave there. But the light again was not so much sort of for the colour, but the light was just beautiful across. But yeah, it's probably around that same shutter speed, really, just as the wave was just going to break. But I'm just going to sort this battery out, Darren, else we'll...
yeah, no problem.
else we'll end. Yeah. So, if it's sorry.
I was going to say we can edit this out, but no, keep that bit in. we can always edit things out, but no, that stays in. Yeah, outtakes.
Right, calm down, Daniel.
Oh God. I'm good.
You're good.
Same beach, and I'm sure we was with Fiona again.
Yeah.
But again, the waves were just absolutely fantastic, and that's the thing about this beach is where you've got all these little rocks in the foreground and round about. You can just pick your composition and sort of just wait for the waves to sort of wash in and out a little bit. So it's just, I always like to try and time a wave going out with a wave coming in.
Yeah.
So a wave had just come in, sort of wrapped around the rocks a little bit as one, as a huge one was coming in as well.
And that's where you get that crashing motion effect.
Yeah, it just softens a quarter of a second when the waves are like that. It just softens that. And it's all about preference, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. So we've all got our own shutter speed, what we do for waterfalls and stuff like that. And we all tend to go towards as favourite speed, don't we? But it works so well in this image as that shutter speed.
And that added little colour in top right hand corner as well. That just adds to it, doesn't it? It's just
Yeah.
Lovely lights.
When you first sent these through, Adele, what I loved about this was that green in the waves. It gives you that sense of power coming through.
That's it. And I think we've said a few times that I quite often think that sometimes people think that you've maybe oversaturated the the aqua or the greens to make the water look like that, but it honestly does. Even today, sort of on a grey day, it probably brings out the greens even more when you get those overcast skies. But the water is it's like crystal clear. And you get that lovely, beautiful colour come through. It's stunning.
Yeah, it really is nice. Going on to this one then, you mentioned the greens. Is this underwater?
It is. It's taken with the underwater Olympus camera down on Sealybost. Margaret Soraya does a lot of water work with her camera, and I used to do photography quite a bit myself when I was on holiday and things. I had an underwater camera when I was younger, much younger, and then coming to the island, sort of saw a bit of Margaret and whatnot, saw what she was doing. I thought I could really fancy having another go at that. And that was just one of the images that we took down there. Love it. Just love that image.
Yeah, wetsuits on.
Yeah, wetsuits
on. So something different though, isn't it? Because I mean, I'll be honest, I don't remember the last time I've seen an underwater image on social media.
No.
Yeah. So it's something different, isn't it? Really.
Do you follow Bill Ward? He does quite a bit of seascape ICM.
Yeah.
This sort of reminds me of one of his images. 'Cause he gets immersed in the water to get his. And when I saw this, I thought, you've got to have been in this.
We were in with our wetsuits on doing that one. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's it's just different, isn't it? I like
It is, yeah.
I like that print, you know, and I think, well, yeah, I love that image.
Yeah, and
I
again,
mean, there's not many photographers have a wetsuit in the kit bag, is there, really? No, I know I haven't got one anywhere. I mean, do I get one now? Do I try it? I don't know.
we bought the wetsuits when we came over in May, because we came over in the van, we had the awning, and we said, we're literally on a site that's on the beach. Let's take, get some wetsuits and sort of get in the water, because it's not something we've done before, is it?
No.
So I think, when you get the calm little, because this one was down at Sealy-Boss, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And you get like a massive pool of water that is still quite deep, but it's sort of separated by a bank of sand, depending on the tide. So you get that calmness without the waves sort of coming battering you a little bit. And when the light shines and it brings out that water, I absolutely love this image of Max's.
So underwater settings, then, I mean, how would you set up for that one then? Because obviously with you can't sit still, can you? You've got a lot. So is it a fast shutter speed?
Yes, yeah, it is a fast shutter speed. You what I do with my feet, with that one, I did with my feet what Adele did with the tripod on Weedy.
Just dig your feet in.
Yeah. Really quick shutter speed, because obviously it is still moving. You can see with the ripples on the top there, you can see that it was actually moving, floating. Yeah, floating.
Nice.
So
yeah, it's a very, very intriguing image, isn't it?
Very different.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And so is the next one. Who's the drone pilot out of you two?
That's me.
I don't like it.
I love the drone.
I was going to say, is there a reason have you both tried, or have you both decided, I'm not doing this?
I decided I'm not doing this.
The only thing about the drone here is because it's so windy all the time, we can't get it often enough. In the summer, it's not too bad, but at the moment, it's really difficult to get it up. You around that 30-mile-an-hour wind mark, and you shouldn't really be putting it up any higher than that. I mean, not saying that I have had it up much higher than that, but the images aren't as good as they should be if the wind's too strong. But yeah, I love the drone. Absolutely love the fact
those colours.
When you look at the colours of the water, especially, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
It's a proper nature colour palette, is this image, isn't it? It goes from the greens to the oranges to the yellows and then back to the greens again. It's just something really different.
Yeah.
I think it was Dalbeck.
Was Dalbeck that one? Yeah.
I love the drone, really do.
Yeah.
So.
It scares me. I don't know why. Like when Max first got the drone, it'd be up in the air for about 3 seconds, and I'd be like, "Bring it down, put it away." I don't know. I just have visions of it dropping out.
Well, ask McD what happened to him last time he flew a drone.
Go on.
That was the last time I flew the drone. I've had a drone for a year and a half. Flown it yet?
Exactly.
I still pay the insurance, the £75 or whatever it is for insurance a year, but I've never flown it.
It's great. Once you just got to be brave. I mean, we had it before we moved, and I was really nervous. The thought of it going too high and a bird attacking it, or the thought of it going too high and the battery running out and it coming crashing down to earth. Everything just put me off. But we got here and I thought, well, I'm just not going to be worried to use it. Just get it up in the air and see what you can see. And I think because it's so beautiful, you just want to see more of it from above, a totally different viewpoint of it, of the land and the sea, and it's just. Yeah. It's just amazing. It's fantastic.
I love it. Absolutely love flying drone, but it puts you off when it goes under a water, like into a waterfall and down, and that's it. It's gone.
Yeah. Our first one did something similar, but not on the waterfall, just on the beach where the wave was coming in, and I tried to get as low as I could, coming, following the wave around, and nosedived it, and it went under the water. So,
no. Well, Daz has just sort of vanished into that waterfall.
Still there now.
Yeah. But you do need to get it back up. You need to get it back up and flying again, Daz. I mean, Look at
Just
these.
Definitely.
Oh,
Is
Yeah,
this this with the drone again?
Yes, that's the drone. That's Adele stood on the beach there. Can you see Adele there with the shadow?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, Adele was getting her feet wet and the drone up in the air. It was again just lovely to see the water like that, the colour of the water, the sand, the water above, just above Adele's head there on the sand is actually coming down from the hills into the sea.
Right.
You just
Right.
can't quite see it. It just looks like a shadow, but it's actually
Yeah.
the water that's coming down and through the sand back into the sea.
Oh.
I think it's that person, that you, Adele, that actually makes this image. It gives you a sense of scale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
because look at the size of the waves coming in.
I know.
and that's from as high as it is. You know, you can just imagine the size of them, can't you?
Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely.
It just shows the vastness of the beach, doesn't it?
it does. Yeah,
And it's
It's
a nice beach
pristine as well, isn't it?
Yeah, beach, isn't it?
Yeah.
So clean.
Yeah.
So clean.
Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
pristine. There you go, Daz. You're gonna have to get your drone back up.
Yeah, not near water.
Oh, now then. You
Yeah.
forget this is the British Isles, don't you?
Yeah.
I know. Honestly, it's
Wow.
beautiful island. I mean, this is Manchester Sea Stacks, and I think when we came over in the van, we visited here, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And I remember saying on that video that I'd seen a picture of these sea stacks in a photography book. I think it was is it the Photo View?
Yes, yeah.
Books. I think I'd seen an image of the stacks in there, and just was absolutely blown away. And we'd not been, when we moved over in December, we hadn't been back to the stacks until it was September just gone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we'd sort of been here for all that time and hadn't been over, and we thought, you could see there was a gap on the horizon. So we drove out and just sort of waited. We spent a couple of hours, and I think the sun was just setting probably a little bit too far behind us because it was obscured by a bit of a cliff. So we just got the light at the very top coming across. So I think there'll be a lot of opportunity sort of up and down. We're over that way all the time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Sort of just exploring the little cliffs and sort of just walking, looking what there is, because it's such an expanse of coastline. You could literally spend probably all day and not go very far because there's so much to sort of see and explore. So it's just an amazing. I mean, there wasn't much going on with the tide, but the light and the sky was quite nice.
Yeah,
I just love how it flows from left to right, like it comes round.
Yeah.
It just flows really. This wouldn't look out of place in the Faroes or in Iceland.
Yeah, I mean the stacks are amazing. Yeah. I think the thing that's probably difficult about it a little bit is trying to get that separation with the stacks.
Yeah,
you can be a bit limited on where you shoot from, but there are some different things that you can put in your foreground, like this bit here, to try and sort of make a bit more of the image, as opposed to you see a lot of images of the stacks sort of with a long lens and just the stacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like to use foreground quite a lot and sort of try and frame an image up, So it was nice.
Yeah.
I like the rocks in the water there. What you can see, that line of rocks that leads you straight up to stacks.
Yeah.
Just so clear.
I think Cliff Hands actually went down onto that sort of got on the same level as the stack and did some photography from there. But there's no way.
I've seen that one. Yeah, I've seen that when it goes down.
I've seen that. Yeah, because that's the only way to get down is to abseil down, and it's not for me.
I'll use the drone.
Yeah. Is this a stitched pan or is it just a wide angle?
It's just a wide angle. I think it was with the 14 to 30.
Right.
It was at 14 mil.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's like you said, Daniel, before. It's one of them places that wouldn't look at a place in Iceland or Faroe Islands, anything like that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And the light as well.
Light out of British Isles.
Yeah. The light just kissing them far side. rocks in the distance as well. It's
Yeah.
like you said, Adele, it's not far from you. The possibilities with this are going to be unbelievable, aren't they?
I know, and we've still got so much to see. You know, I mean, it's like today. We was out today. We spent probably 2 hours out, and we literally probably went
50 yards.
50. Where you turn, sort of left, right, even straight out. You know, there's so much, because I think up where we were today, that there's so many rocks and different textures and colours for foreground.
Right.
You know, so you sort of we hardly went far at all, but each image is different. You know, so you can just spend hours
You've got
enjoying the photography.
endless possibilities, haven't you now? That's it.
You could go back to this place tomorrow and it'll be different again.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different image.
Yeah.
Different clouds and different
clouds,
lights.
different waves.
Yeah.
No.
Going on to the next one.
Well, that's different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Boca balls.
Yeah, again, it's a recent one. We had some snow and ice just through the island, and I think we haven't managed to get out of it. I think Bonnie wasn't, one of our dogs wasn't well, so we sort of stayed in, and the day that we did get to go out, we had clear blue skies. And you know how it is, you're sort of feeling a bit, it's not really doing it's not really doing anything. And I'd have the long lens on, and I was just experimenting really, and I was like, oh, I quite like that. So we just sort of spent a couple of hours these were literally just blades of grass growing out the snow. And with the light sort of coming through a bit later, nearer to sunset, we got some really interesting sort of effects with the bokeh and whatnot. So yeah, it's just something different.
Sensitive images are just beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, it really is. It's like a really abstract feel, isn't it, with the ice crystals on the grass?
Yeah. I think it was just because it's something that we don't really do. You know, we don't do that type of photography. You know, I like the abstracts and the smaller details, but it's not something that we would usually do. So, you know, to go out and sort of make a video and you know, put these images in, sort of felt a bit like you were leaving yourself open. You know, not what would people think, but because it's so different to what we normally do. We really enjoyed it. And it's about going out and trying to push yourself outside that comfort zone a little bit sometimes. So yeah, it was really nice. I enjoyed it.
Have you printed this image?
I've not printed this one. I have printed another one from that day that was sort of similar tones, and really, I think I've got it here actually. Oh yeah, it's this one.
This wasn't planned, by the way.
I just happened to
I just happened to have a print. But yeah, it's. I think again, because they were so different, I thought, I'll just have a go at printing one and just see sort of how it comes off. And I actually really like it. I think it's the soft tones and you know, the sort of gold against the blues. Go quite well on it.
Yeah, because you have now become a Permajet ambassador as well, haven't you?
Yeah, just recently. So they put an advert out. I think it was back in October. I think they put like an application out for people to complete, and I mean, printing is still pretty new to us. We've been sort of maybe since the beginning of last year, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we just thought, you know, I think with what we're trying to do with supporting women in photography, you know, and the fact that there aren't many women that, you know, achieve brand ambassador roles, we just thought, well, I'll apply for it. We'll see how it goes. And I was really, really surprised to be selected for it, and really pleased to be working with them. They seem a really supportive team. So yeah, we're looking forward to sort of seeing where that goes and experimenting with printing and different papers as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've been using their, like yourself, I've been using their print papers for quite a while. And there's one in particular that works fantastic for the Aurora, and that's that titanium luster.
Yeah,
And
it looks lovely.
I think this would work on that paper as well.
Yeah, they sent us like a little like swatch pack, with all the papers, a stack of all the papers, and we keep going back to that titanium luster. It looks lovely, and I think some of the gold waves I think will look quite nice on that as well.
Yeah, anything with that bit of a metallic sheen works really nice with it. So let's go to this one. You mentioned the Aurora, Daniel.
Yeah, so it was an absolutely amazing night. It was in September 2023 before we moved to the island.
Ooh.
So we was in the van and it was a bit of a strange day really, because we'd been trying to get back from Uist to Harris, and I had a bit of a nightmare with the ferries, and we knew there was going to be sort of a good display of the Aurora. We had clear skies, and we'd actually set up at the wee beach, hadn't we?
Yeah, we had.
And it was nice, there was a glow, you had a couple of structures and whatnot. And I think it was about 11:30 at night, and we said, we'll call it. We need to find somewhere to park in the van, and we'll just call it for tonight. So we were driving from there back up through Harris, and you could see sort of in the distance the glow of the Aurora, and we were like, let's just pull over and have a look. And we were there then for about another hour, and it just got better and better.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. And this was literally just by the road, the roadside at a pulling, looking across.
Oh, fantastic.
It was stunning, really lovely, really lovely.
And you'll get a lot more chances now up there as well, won't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit quiet, hasn't it?
We do get it above the house, so we've had it directly above the house. We've been out in our pyjamas in the street. Nobody else around, and nobody, nobody to see us, but in the road, taking photographs of the Aurora. Honest to God.
The neighbours can't switch it. Oh, they're off again. Look at the jammies.
Yeah.
To
see the Aurora is always a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, the first time I got it with this year with Big D, and we were just mesmerised by it. I didn't take that many images compared to what I normally do, because we were just sat there watching.
If you've not seen it before, then it's and you can see it by naked eye. You just forget the camera, just look at it.
Yeah.
So, especially when you can see, you can see the pinks, and then you get those like muted greens, but you can still see the green. And then when you start getting the structures forming, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, really is mesmerising.
Nice reflections in the water.
You mentioned earlier about supporting women in photography. You've set up, you set up a website for it, was it?
We've got it's an Instagram page, so we've got the Women in Seascape Photography page, and it's doing really well. Some of the images that are shared are just unreal. The talent is just phenomenal. And we've got Permajet doing the print of the month as well, so trying to support that, which is fantastic. And it's a really lovely community,
it's great.
isn't it?
It's a great community, yeah.
We've just done our 100th post today.
Oh, nice one.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's going well. It's something that we've always wanted to do, to support in photography. And I think initially we were sort of trying to do the encouraging women onto YouTube. We did a little webinar with SheClicks.
Yeah.
I'm doing YouTube videos and stuff. But I think when we moved here, we were sort of thinking about Lewis and what it could represent. And it sort of naturally lends itself to let's encourage women in seascape photography. So it was something that we thought about really early into last year. And then sort of, I think it was just a case of settling in to the island, sort of finding our way around a little bit, having a bit of time to focus on things, and then sort of getting it set up. So yeah, it's going really
So
well.
do you think you say there there's, and I agree, there's not a lot of women in photography or in YouTube. Do you think there's a reason for that?
There's probably lots of reasons. There's a community called Women Photographers Canada, and they put a survey out a little while ago. I think it was over summer last year.
Okay. Yeah.
It's run by Victoria Hack and Fiona McLean, and they put this survey together and sort of encourage people to fill it in. And I think it's going to be closing quite soon. But at the point that we sort of were looking at the results that were coming through, I think there was over 400 people that had filled it in, predominantly women. And I think it was 92% of women said that they don't feel safe to go out on their own. And that's why
Yeah.
don't go out into the landscape and sort of get up at sunrise and sunset times.
Yeah.
We're really
Shame.
fortunate because we out together all the time. For a lot of women, they might not have a partner that's supportive of the photography, and sort of there could be commitments with family. Probably a whole host of things, but I think it is on the rise, and you can see that there's a momentum growing with it.
I know Louise Welcome and Courtney Victoria, they've gone into this community about not feeling safe and stuff like that, and they've sort of highlighted it as well.
It'll be holding so many. I mean, rightly so. I mean, it's an awful to think that's the reason, but it's holding so many back. I can only imagine.
Well, that's it. I mean, we wrote a little. So after the results from that survey came out, we were. It's not that you don't know that that's a reason, because you do. You do know that it's a safety factor. And we were, sort of. It's such a shame that women don't get out and experience, photography and enjoy photography to the, the level that they might want to. And it's then that practicing photography, if you're not going out regularly, if it's once in a blue moon, you don't get the opportunity to practice. You're not going out in the conditions when they're probably at the best. You're probably then thinking, well, I've not got images I can enter into competitions. So, I think women are underrepresented sort of across the board with it, really. But actually, I think you can see that there's a change and a shift in that balance. So I think if we can do anything at all to try and help and support that.
Fantastic.
It can only be a positive, can't it? Get more women to photography.
Absolutely.
So what we'll do, we'll link that Instagram page down below as well. So anyone that's watching can link onto that and get involved. And we'll
highly recommend it.
Yeah, we'll link your YouTube channel on that below as well. But that could be one for a future YouTube video for yourselves.
Yeah, definitely. It's I don't know. It's just been really. I think for the women in seascape photography, I think that because it's such a versatile genre of photography, which I suppose any genre can be, but the variety of the diversity of images that are shared with us are just unbelievable. And you think, oh, I like that. That's fantastic. So we share one main feature a day, and then we'll share lots of things to the stories as well. So I think it's just thinking about how we can take that forward into this year, and we've got quite a few ideas coming up for that.
So where you live then, are there many other photographers, or more specifically female photographers in your areas?
Not really. Not really. We do know quite a few local photographers, but not so much women, which is a shame.
Yeah, it is because, like I say, if it was one in your local area, you could have a group. So, like I say, safety in numbers. But like you say, it is a shame. That's the reason for it. It really is, because they're worried about their own safety. It's awful.
One of the things that we did put together to try and help with that a little bit was the photography buddy. So if people are here and it's a lady that wants to get out with a camera, but her other half doesn't really feel it, or it's somebody that have come across with the friends and the friends aren't into photography. The photography buddy is to try and sort of offer that sort of community. you know,
Nice.
Max will come out with us.
That's nice. That right. Well done.
It's a great idea, isn't it? The photography buddy. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great insight into your lives now on Harris and Lewis. And so, have you been over to Harris?
Yeah, it's one island. It's Harris and Lewis, but it's just a little sign that says "Welcome to Harris."
Yeah.
As you drive down, through.
It's if I'm right in thinking, it's north and south, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think Harris is north or Lewis is south or something like that.
Yeah, Lewis is north, Harris is south.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
Lewis is much bigger than Harris, but yeah, it's just drive, just past.
So, is there a divide with the locals? Is there like a? You got the pitchforks out. Get across to Lewis. Go back to Lewis.
United v Liverpool.
The big pitchfork.
Oh yeah, you can just imagine that, couldn't you?
Yeah, big pitchforks. Get aside.
So what else have you ladies got planned then for this year?
Quite a bit, really. We're sort of looking at doing a fine art print range. So we're just sort of finding our way with papers a little bit and seeing which ones work for which images. We've got the Creative Light Festivals. So Margaret Soraya runs and hosts that sort of probably every year. It's on Harris this year. So we're supporting with that.
Yep.
That's in
nice.
October. There are some tickets left if anybody wants to come along.
Yep.
We've got, what else have we got going on? Thinking about it. I mean, we've done so much planning over January. We're doing we're starting a project. It's day one of filming tomorrow. But it's such a creative community here, on the islands. And there's so many talented artists and people that make things and produce things. So we're looking at making one video per month, which is putting a focus on inspired by the island. So it's people that either have moved here or have been born and bred here, and either, they're an artist, a creator, whatever it be, but the surroundings and the island has inspired them.
Oh,
so we're starting that. So that's going to be looking forward to that.
Yeah. First one tomorrow.
Yeah, first one tomorrow. I can't even think. There's probably, we're trying to get on with an exhibition. We made a couple of inquiries just recent and had a few responses back. I think because it's such a creative island and, there's a lot of artists, it's that waiting time for some exhibition space, really. But yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. And it's there. You've just mentioned there, the islands are building your creativity out there for the photography and other things as well with other people on the island.
Yeah, definitely.
So, nice one. Well, thank you very much for coming on Photopeeps. And as always, if you've enjoyed this, please give us the old thumbs up. All the links below for Adele's channel, Warner Tate Photography, as well as the Instagram posts, will all be linked below. And what we'll do, we'll end with a montage of all your images. So, thank you all for watching. And if you fancy taking part in season 2, because unfortunately this is the last one of season 1, then comment below. And what's it cost to subscribe, Daniel?
I was waiting for this. It's free. Okay, we'll do it for free. Okay. Click, free.
There you go. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Don't you hear the water rolling down the mountain, and running under the sea? Can't you feel my heartbeat? Steady as a drum, babe, steady as a drum, babe, and crawling to me. No, time moves slow. Feel it in your soul. Let me hear you go. I wanna feel the water as it washes over. so come a little closer.